Alright, look. Imagine taking an absolutely bland cloth interior Chevy Cruze and actually making it exciting. I know it kind of seems a little far-fetched, but the guys at ZZPerformance have truly done something magical. They've taken a Gen 2 Chevy Cruze and put a big turbo on it. With their prototype turbo system, they've made almost 300 wheel horsepower out of essentially a glorified economy car. So what's it like taking essentially a car that feels like an appliance and making it one of the most fun sleepers on the road? Let's talk about it. Huge thanks to DraftKings for sponsoring today's video. The NBA Cup is here and it's time to battle it out and see who is the top dog. And I've teamed up with DraftKings Sportsbook to get you even closer to the action. And right now, all new customers who bet just $5 get $200 in bonus bets instantly. That's right, new customers who bet just $5 get $200 in bonus bets instantly. And stay in on the action in the $200 in bonus bets on DraftKings same game parlays for a shot at an even bigger payout. Combine multiple bets together, and if DraftKings is not available in your state, don't worry. You can still join in on all the fun with DraftKings Daily Fantasy and have a shot to win cash prizes. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app now. New customers use my promo code ThatDude and bet just $5 on any wager and get $200 in bonus bets instantly. That's promo code ThatDude only at DraftKings Sportsbook. So you're on your daily commute and you're in your 2017 Gen 2 Chevy Cruze. To the untrained eye, nothing too crazy, right? But I mean, why wouldn't you think about what would happen if I took this 1.4 liter engine and threw 30 pounds of boost through it? Well, now you don't have to wonder anymore. Today, we are back at ZZP. Huge thanks to ZZPerformance for letting me drive their Chevy Cruze. And what this is essentially a big turbo Chevy Cruze. It's got a 1.4 liter 4-cylinder engine with a big turbo on it. And I actually, unfortunately, can't show you the turbo on this right now because it is a prototype, but it is Garrett based, so that's what I can tell you. But I can tell you everything else about this freaking car. So the first time I drove a modified Chevy Cruze was right before the world ended in 2020. I was up in the North Georgia mountains, and somebody said, "Hey David, I have a fire-breathing Chevy Cruze." And I drove it, and it was absolutely obnoxious. This is like a snare drum in a drum line, and did exactly what was advertised. That car was not subtle at all. It had a side exit on the front bumper. It was bright red. If I remember right, it had a bright red interior as well. There was no hiding this thing from being just ridiculous. It was like a sleeper trying not to be a sleeper. However, this parked anywhere in the world, you would have no idea what was done to this thing. The only thing that it would slightly give away that it was a sleeper is that it's got these inky wheels on it and a little bit stickier of a tire. Not that an average Joe would go dyno their Chevy Cruze, but if you're curious, they average around 150 wheel horsepower. And ZZP was like, nah, we can do better than that. So being specialists in kind of the Chevy / GM 4-cylinders, like the Ecotechs, they're like, I wonder if we could really push the limits of these things. Well, this is a bone stock engine, believe it or not. It's not built, it doesn't have forged internals, they didn't pull out the motor or anything. They just threw this turbo system on. It's direct injection, so that can be a little tricky sometimes, but now it makes 275 wheel horsepower. In modern terms, you're gonna say, oh, well, David, like, we're all numb to horsepower. That's not a lot. In this, it's a lot. front wheel drive, so it's going to spin the tires. And what really is impressive about it is due to its lack of displacement. Being under 2 liters and still making almost 300 wheel horsepower. And to accommodate this, they've also put bigger brakes on it. They've also done everything else to really make sure that it's stout all the way around. This feels like you took a rental car and turned it all the way up. That's kind of what it feels like, right? On the interior and everything else. Chevy Cruze is not a car to impress, in my opinion. It's a car just to get you around. We also have an exhaust on the back that's actually pretty subtle. It doesn't have anything crazy like a side exit or anything like the first Chevy Cruze I drove. But the 1.4 liter, in comparison to other platforms that are 4 cylinders that are so popular, K-Series, B-Series, 3S GTE from Toyota, I think the Ecotechs just really need a little bit more limelight. Like, say, example, in the Cobalt SS. Oh, look, a Chevy Cruze just went by me. Hey, brother. First go. What's it gonna be like? I don't know. Let's find out. Okay. Whoa. All right. This definitely feels like the most intense, I would say. The Chevy Sonic was really fun when you're like spinning the tires. This thing hooks up and goes after a little bit of spinning. It starts pulling much harder when you get to like 3rd gear or 4th gear. Woo! This is much faster as well than the first one I drove all those years ago. This is actually fast. This is actually fast. What the heck, man? This turbo hits hard in comparison to some of the other ones for sure. Heathens like me typically just get the compact option or the, you know, the cheapest thing they got. This feels like you went to the rental car dealership, got the cheapest option, and said, you know what? Let's throw 30 pounds of boost through it. All right, here we go. Dude, I have been extraordinarily blessed with my career to drive a lot of things, right? And sometimes you drive the weirder cars that feel kind of like gimmicks, right? You're like, oh, cool in theory, not great in practice. This admittedly seems to work in practice. I am legitimately impressed with this. As soon as the car gets its bearings, right? It hooks up, it starts going, and it goes dead straight. There's basically no torque steer at all. I was expecting to fight this thing. I was ready to go, like 30 PSI, all right, I gotta be mentally prepared to fight this thing. This is impressive. And all the noises it makes. Like sometimes you have the cars that'll make the cool noises, but they don't match up with the feeling the car gives you. It doesn't match up with the acceleration that's happening. It might sound crazy and sound like a big turbo and stuff, but you're not really going anywhere, right? This, it matches up perfectly like a symphony. Never in my life would I ever think somebody would say, yeah, you know, my project car, it's a Chevy Cruze. I'd be like, ah, good choice. This, though, as just a fun toy, freaking awesome, man. And when you're driving normal, it doesn't have a lot of drone. It doesn't have all those really weird things that, like, typically weird sleepers have. It drives pretty normal with this automatic transmission. It does take a second. The automatic transmission does kind of take its time to figure out what you're trying to do. And then once you get going, it just goes, oh, we're doing this. Oh my God! It starts to rip your face off up top. And I swear I'm not being over dramatic. Like, you know how some car reviewers will be like, oh my God, wow, this is so fast. No, like this is legitimately like, when it starts rolling out, it is so much fun. It's not like a scary fast, but it does get your blood going just enough. I will say, like, the first few gears, you're going, okay, right, we're going, and then it throws all of it. It's like all the boost all at once. Also, if you just do like 50% throttle or so, you get great noises out of this thing. All right, better with the windows up. You definitely hear more when the windows are up. Also, the throttle in the Chevy Cruze has this very strange, like, I don't know what to call it, like a two-stage throttle. So essentially, when you get on the gas, you'll feel like you're pretty much at 100%, but there's like an extra nudge. You basically need to tell yourself mentally to push all the way to the floor. It's like a two-step pedal system. So, 2017, big turbo, prototype, Chevy Cruze. What did I think of it? I went into this kind of expecting the last one I drove. This is a usable car. Like, that's what's blowing my mind, is that it's a usable car. I can have fun in it. I can drive it every day. It feels comfortable. Like I said, it feels like a rental car. And also, huge thanks to ZZP for inviting me back up here, letting me drive their cars, let me experience their prototype turbo kit. I mean, that is a privilege in itself. And I've had an amazing time driving the Chevy Cruze. This was a memorable one. So, on that note, I'm gonna make it back safely, and I typically upload on Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Sundays. And I'll see you guys next time. Take it easy. Have a wonderful day. Go check out ZZP for me. Bye, guys.